Oh, OBS changed something on me. Mm. All right. Good morning and welcome to Mo Knows featuring me, Monica Mo Justice. Now, I did something with the sound that I think I did. So y'all let me know. Um, I'm not gonna like this new thing that OBS just did. Y'all don't listen for sound like I listen for sound, but let me see. Ooh, that's that. Mm. But that's interesting. Hold up. Oh, you know what? That's why. Okay, hold on a second. Let me see. That's why. Okay, hold on a second. Let me see. My mic sounds nice. Check one. My mic sounds nice. Check one. Okay, so good. All right, hold up. What I didn't do was change the title from yesterday. So let me just change the title. And the title is going to be this is really a my thoughts video, but okay. Now I got my title changed. All right. So good morning and welcome to Mo Knows featuring me, Monica Mo Justice. Okay, let's just do this like okay. All right. As you may or may not know, yesterday, Karen requested the link to Unspoken Purpose video panel, and she was granted the link. Shout out to that lady um, for at least wanting to have the conversation. But you know, there are some people that are headliners, and Karen's a headliner. Now, of course, I have a bias because I come from over here, and this is what I'm trying to introduce you folks to because we all have our own personal bias about things. So, of course, I have my bias, and I feel like I feel like Karen's a headliner, and with that, she joined, and and at that moment, she joined the platform. Um, I wish there was in this environment. I wish there was a way to finally resolve issues, but they get left open because we don't really have a good mediation process in place. There is no forum that you can go to um, and have your cases or have your issues settled there and then move on. There's no construct for that. So with that being generated as the way that we conduct business, Karen went up there and had a discussion. You can go back to UP's channel and watch it. I happened to see it in real time, and it is what it is. Um, there was a few points that I did make out to Karen afterwards, because immediately after Karen got off of that platform, she did call me to speak to me. Even though I was very busy yesterday, I took the time out to listen to this. Um, Karen is her own entity, and she has sat quietly for the past couple of weeks and listened to narrative after narrative be formulated about the KMJ. Even though the issue that was at large was with the J, there came a point in time where people, by association or affiliation, have incorporated the KMJ into the J's issue. Then they want to use it against you when the K speaks her truth into the scenario, or when the K shares what she said. Now, this is what I heard this Unspoken Purpose lady say a couple of days ago. She has to commend, and I'm going to reinforce again or restate that everyone's goal that is not KMJ is to divide KMJ, because they don't understand what the entity represents. And when they see three entities conjure together, they're concerned. So to not accept just the hashtag KMJ, they have engaged in a silent war against the KMJ, which they were happy to move forward in their assault once the J came out here and started to express herself openly. What day was that? I went to Vegas on the 3rd. So, and I'm not going to be here all morning. So, August 3rd. So, on August 6th, after having enjoyed her birthday or whatever you want to call that was, and her visitors from out of town and whatever, Joy felt it was her time to come on her platform and share whatever it was she wanted to share. And she did it in her right, in her time. And people are now or people at that time were alarmed because, in Karen's words yesterday, most people had moved on because Joy had been silent. And the narrative out here has been Monica. I'm just gonna go with me. Monica has kept Joy silent. Monica is the type of person that when she sees people in duress, she endeavors to help them get out of duress by not encouraging them to go further into the fire, into the flame. But by never has there ever been an attempt by Monica to prevent anybody from ever telling their story. I, because maybe by profession, or it may be just a flaw of mine, right? That means it might be a characteristic. It's a flaw. It's just something of mine that may not really mix with other people, or it could be from my professional background, that I do not encourage people to go out and tell people their pain and problems so openly when there's conflict surrounding it. I don't encourage people to speak on legal issues until the cases have been settled. And then you have a clear, open pathway to discuss those legal issues. Joy's situation was not a legal issue, but for me, it was on the same level of silence is golden at that time. And I felt that Joy needed to work on Joy so that when she came out here and was able to share whatever it is or swing at whomever she wanted to swing at, she was strong enough that she didn't come across as we had seen her in the earlier part of the year seeming crying. Oh, forgive me for doing this. And very emotional when she really don't give a fuck about the people she was expressing emotion to. When you go through breakups, and this is a hard thing for women, right? Sometimes we love harder. I think maybe I feel Joy's pain because we're both Leos, right? I know what it is to be a Leo who loves somebody and you love them more than they love you, or that they appreciate it, or you feel like just you as a woman, me as a woman, I'm speaking about Monica. I've loved people, and when it came time for the breakup, it seemed to not impact them as much as it impacted me. And I realized that I loved in that relationship more than the person loved me. I'm not saying that the person didn't love me. I'm saying that I loved him more than he loved me. And the rule, my first golden rule about relationships, this is mine, not for everybody else. But if it works for you, incorporate it in your daily plan. I feel when I'm in a relationship with a man, he should love me more than I love him. And I should see it in everything that he does, especially in the initial relationship. I often use the terminology options and priorities. I watch a man when I first meet him, because first impressions is everything. And I watch how he treats me. Because one, I learned something from every man I ever went to bed with. So if you ain't never slept with me or had your poker inside of me, you can't even relate to what I'm about to say next. I learned something from each of those men because in my world, they're great men. Because what lies between my legs is the best place to be at on earth. That's how I feel about my special spot. You women, if you don't feel that way about your spot, that's your business. But I feel like it's a prize in and of itself. I don't just offer it to any and everybody. If you get to be in that spot, then you are definitely special and you get a number. I don't have a high number body count in my life because I've always felt like my vagina was a reward to someone. So each man that I've ever had a sexual relationship with holds something dear. I've learned something from him that I can carry on. He is an individual that I can always speak to. Good morning, Sam. No matter where I am in life, I should be able to stop to have a conversation with him because I wouldn't have let that person in if I felt like he shouldn't have been there. So I evaluate penis hard before it gets anywhere near a relationship with my vagina. Now I got other friends that are just, friends, but not intimate. That's how I hold things. So I know that in a relationship with two of mine, and honestly, I can only think of two relationships, right? One is dead. Where I walked out of it or walked away from it hurt because I felt like I gave more than I got out of it. And one is because of death, and I felt like there was so much left to be done. There was just so much left to be done. And there was another one that I had that I felt like I don't really know how to call it. But I still don't leave those relationships arguing. I would never want to, even though I had the worst experience I could have with my children's father, I would like to think that there's going to be a day, and there has been many of them lately, where we're on a good accord, someplace where we're at peace with each other. To that, I realized he called me last night. I just thought about that. I'll text him when I'll be tired. I'll be asleep. Never ever would I want to be in a relationship with somebody and go through the public humiliation that I seen Joy go through. I don't know what woman out here wouldn't feel some kind of empathy towards what they saw happen. Now, I saw a lot of people rally around the man in the situation because they felt that Joy was over the top. I haven't experienced that with Joy. So I can't denounce their experience with her. But what I can say is, for all the reasons that I love me some Joy. All the reason why I have love in my heart for Joy I can't see her go out the way I was seeing her treated. So for those people that think I'm a phony cousin and all that other stuff, so be it. I cannot begin to box with you people and adequately support Joy. I know what narratives you are trying to build out here to divide and conquer. I don't see you guys as being successful this time around. Period. Not you people on the outside. There could be something internally that could cause a rift. But it will not be the likes of Unspoken Purpose doing videos and trying to put back together timelines. Her energy doesn't have enough to divide the K, the M, and the J. Because the glue that holds the K and the J together is the Momo. And I'm not about to sit aside and watch that happen. I didn't ask Joy and Karen to become friends on here. I didn't ask it. I actually probably didn't even want it. I wanted to keep whatever I had with Karen as a Karen Monica thing and whatever I had with Joy as a Joy Monica thing. The two of them knuckleheads, want to get together and chat it up behind the scenes without me and stuff. So they've established their own relationship. They were in Vegas partying without Mo. Imagine that. See, y'all don't get to hear what happened in Vegas. I guess what happened in Vegas really stays in Vegas, right? So if Karen is disappointed yesterday or today, enjoy. They have a relationship that you folks on this internet do not have. And they have an understanding that you folks on this internet do not have. And I know that Joy listens to her opposition, the people that are against her. She listens to them feverishly. I don't know why, but she does. Her ex knows that she does that. So people, when they know how you move, will intentionally do things to impact your movement, especially when they know how you move. When people call war on others, they generally hit the person in their most vulnerable spots. And if they could pick up your routines and they can attack you in your routines, they will. I am not subscribed to Unspoken Purpose. I am not a fan of her content. I do not like or appreciate environments that only do content based on other people's content. Meaning, their whole channel is constructed on looking at somebody else's content and doing commentary on it. Especially when the commentary is for personal assassinations. I don't favor that. So I don't like her type of content. So it's not something that I actively view. She's right up there with the channel that got exiled from our community. I just don't watch it. So when Joy was on Monica's platform on Saturday, right, which would be this past Saturday, so I'm going to put a date on it. On August 26th, when Joy and I was on the platform together. And I meant to go look to see if I invited Joy up there or if I had the link in I had the link out there from the start because I was on StreamYards. And again, when Monica's on StreamYards, my theory is I brought Mo to you, King Mo Sabi to you for a reason. It was Saturday. So Joy came up there. Joy and I was talking. This person believes, because that's where I'm going to go from. She believes, and this is what I said to Joy on Sunday, when it finally got revealed to me that Unspoken Purpose had done a video either Friday night or Saturday morning, sometime before I did my Saturday video, but relatively close to when I did it. There's an allegation out here that she was proposing to do a positive video in support. Let me get the language together based on what she said yesterday. That she was supporting Karen, Monica, and Joy by offering to put together the pieces of how things played out publicly and establish a timeline. Now, I didn't hear positive in there. But maybe some people believe the word support means positive. Listen, I don't know what her intentions were on the Saturday before I spoke, when I spoke, and after I spoke. Nothing that was said prior to me having knowledge of it, and now that I have knowledge of it, has changed my position on F her for life. Period. And I told you why then. For beginners, the Unspoken Purpose person had been publicly bashing me, assassinating my character throughout the community. And I do not appreciate it. I didn't then, I don't today, and I will not tomorrow. It's not going to change. When somebody publicly bashes your character, assassinates your character without even knowing you, you have a right to formulate a I don't trust that person to ever give an opinion that's in my best interest. I haven't seen evidence of her being neutral. I've seen evidence of Unspoken speaking as openly as she can on the positive side of someone if she's in support of them, and I've watched her completely flip it and go on the negative side of supporting that person. She's an equal opportunity commentator, right? And she might think that that's a great thing. That's her platform. She has a right to do it how she wants. I'm not a fan of it. So it's not something that I would participate in, or it's not something that I particularly am interested in. I don't do subscriber manipulation. I don't have it within me to try to build a following that can be weaponized against other people at my whim. I don't like that type of support. That's Monica. Other people like Unspoken Purpose do, and they appreciate having an audience, people that support them, that they can weaponize to do their bidding when they're not around. I personally do not have two strongs and people of that nature around me, nor do I execute them to carry out plots on my behalf. I don't have that kind of following, nor do I want that kind of following, period. But there are some platforms like Unspoken Purpose who appreciate that type of support, and they love to weaponize their constituents in that manner. I do not. So those are reasons why I don't appreciate her platform. Then there's the fact that I had her on my platform. And then we had the discussion. And I listened as objectively as I could. And there was a point in time when I knew that it was a waste of my time having even spent that amount of time with this person, because they come from someplace I don't. They are part of the beefing sector. She's a reject from the beef community in some way, shape, fashion. But she has the principles and the morals of the beefing type of sector. And she does that. Again, another fundamental thing I don't like. It doesn't work for me. So I try not to, I'm not a fan of it. So I'm going to shy away from it. I will always defend myself as appropriate. But I'm not going to belittle myself or walk out of being a lady intentionally on here. There could be a time that I could get carried away like anybody else. I'm not going to sit up here and premeditate and say I'm going to lay down my Bible to arm myself. I'm never going to lay, and just as a side note, I'm never going to lay down my strongest weapon, my Bible, to arm myself to fight the enemy. People use words like hate. No, people like Unspoken Purpose is not somebody to be hated. She is a nemesis to many. And look up enemy, look up foe, look up nemesis. Nemesis is it's a very good word for this stuff out here. Look up arch nemesis. She used it to describe some people in one of those videos. I think it's a 6-hour video. That's all it is up here. That's all these people are. Enemies, foes. That's why I named the video recently Foes. And nemesis. But they're not people that you even should or would want to hate. Or at least for me, hate would not be the language. But I would use words like nemesis, and those are befitting for the situation. Arch nemesis. Arch means extreme. And when people speak on her, like Nunya, who wrote that message in my chat, like there's nothing like this lady, it's because she's at the extreme. Um, I was listening. I was listening to her. I was listening to her jargon symbolically when she was describing the relationship between Trey and um oh God, the comedian, and she had it all wrong, right? And I don't really want to dissect the video until I finished it, but let me just tell you an example. Give you an example. She said they were symbolically, and then she tries to explain that the beef between, and I'm not going to use beef, I'm going to use, but you guys relate to it as beef. The conflict that began with Trey and um the comedian, which is the comedian Michael Allen, right? The CMA character here, right? That that beef started with CMA saying something about Trey's daughter. That's a negative, lady. That's not where that started. Based on the information that I saw, the exchange that I saw, that's not where that started. The conflict began after CMA did the interview with Trey. Trey proceeded to review. Good morning. How you feeling? Much better? All right, I'm going to come in. Do you need me to break up your medicine? All right. You're welcome. So, the the situation with them, the conflict started to grow as Trey was doing his review, right? And this is what your community is known to do, these reviews. He starts to review this man's stuff, and he's like, yo, I think you throwing shade at me. That's where that stuff started. He started listening to some of the stuff that the man was saying and was like, yo, you starting to throw shade at me. That's where that was coming from, lady. What evolved might be the other things that you're talking about. Those are the consequences. What happened subsequent to. But there was a lot of shade. I watched the interview, which was supposed to be like talking about, the breakup between Joy and him and this and that. And I didn't appreciate what I was hearing. And I didn't appreciate the comedian Michael Allen's questioning nature of it. I had already, because this guy, the comedian Michael Allen, wants to make it sound like he never had an engagement with me. He came up there on one of those panels when I was either in Joy's room or Trey's room in the beginning of this year, and he was up there talking, and I myself didn't want to hear that crap either. And I said something, and Trey tried to quash it over thing. But that dude knew full and well that I was speaking to him. So for him to make a video recently took him and having my name in it, and then acting like he never had an engagement with me, and I ain't never said how I felt about whatever it was that he said that I didn't agree with. I find him to be messy then. He remains messy now. And he will always be messy. He actually came over here before all of that, and you asked him a few questions. If you're talking about the comedian Michael Allen, absolutely. And I was in his room when Trey and Joy first got together, and he was doing commentary on Joy and what he perceived to be Joy's desperation to have a man, that she would settle for Money Boy Trey. I was over there then listening to him break down a female. And there were many things that I said at that time that were in agreement or alignment with what the comedian Michael Allen was saying about women getting into new relationships. And I agreed with some of his talking points at that time. But he's still messy. It's not going to negate him being messy. That's his character flaw. Maybe, or that's embedded in him. I'm not going to call it a flaw. I'm just going to say that's embedded in him. So for him to now make a video about me, maybe his memory is short. Maybe he didn't make the connect. But being that there's only one Monica Mo Justice that I know of, I don't see how it's hard. Just like there's only one CMA, the comedian cooking guy that I'm aware of. There might be a lot of Michaels out here, but there's definitely that. Anyway, I had the privilege yesterday, because I'm about to wrap this up in 6 minutes. I had the privilege yesterday of listening to Karen's live stream. I understand very much so where her frustrations were at with Joy. And I believe what she was saying to Joy openly was, you need to come out here and straighten that up. And I believe I understand Joy completely, because we're looking at the optics of things, right? By Karen making that statement, and then Joy, if she were to come out here just so openly afterwards, it would be the storyline that would ensue would be that Joy came out here because Karen made her do it, which would buy into the storyline that Monica and Karen are controlling Joy. So it makes kind of hard for that. But I will tell you, behind the scenes, right, because people always want to know what's happening behind the scenes, when you hear something come out in front of the scenes, those are the same conversations going on behind the scenes. If that helps any people understand. No one that ever messes with me that I'm aware of can ever tell you that they came on a live and they were surprised by something that was stated. Because you best to believe that behind the scenes, the same warnings, omissions, accolades are being stated. So when you get to front center, it's no surprise. You know exactly what was going to be said. And if you tell somebody differently, you're a lie. So, that's of concern. And as I said earlier, when I did my Saturday video, I had no knowledge of any timeline development plans of Unspoken Purpose. I, Monica Mo Justice, cannot, will not, and shall not try to tell anybody how to run their platform. I can't tell this woman not to do her timeline. I will never discourage her in doing her own content. Carry on as you may. Do what it is that you do. If you're confident that your timeline is something that would be of interest to me, you would get my attention with it. Otherwise, it's just your dormant commentary on me. And I'm saying dormant because I don't listen. I don't need unspoken purpose validation of Monica Mo justice. In the words of Karen, I was a made bitch before you arrived on the scene to me. Everybody in the community that I come from know of me. I was here as it was being established. I was here. I didn't come into it trying to take over or something. I've been here. I was the disclaimer girl. I've been here preserving folks' platforms before some of you people ever entered the scene. I'm a hallmark. Groundbreaking news for some people. I broke bread, broke ground in this area. So I don't know what to tell you. And many people's stuff originates from me. And they tell you this. I don't need to keep shouting it out to remind people what was developed on the back of Monica Mo Justice. Karen said some other things on her platform yesterday. She spoke about Joy not being somebody that built up our platforms and so on and so forth. We're not getting the same joy that other people have destroyed out here. Joy has been forever bruised by her experience by these people. I do agree with Unspoken Purpose in that Gabe and Mad turned on Joy. So hopefully her timeline would show that. But I'm going to tell y'all something, and you can take it with a grain of salt. Unspoken Purpose is a whole lot of hot air, and she fails to deliver. She always is telling you what she's going to show you, what she's going to tell you. Like it's a hot, big moment. It's to keep you stringed along. That 6-hour video yesterday, or whatever day it was, 4 days ago, is the most corniest bullshit I ever did listen to. And I've already been through it for 6 hours. And I got to go through it again for 6 hours because now I am strategically listening for the things she purports to have said in that video. Her intentions. I don't know how anybody grabbed out of that 6-hour video that she was going to do a positive anything about me, Karen, or Joy. I didn't hear it. But I did hear what she said yesterday when she was speaking to Karen. And that's why I put it on my community wall at that time, because I wanted to remember the precise wording. Supporting Karen and Monica and Joy by pulling this timeline together may not necessarily be a positive thing. Let me give you an example. Karen was on Joy's live stream, wherein Joy and her were discussing whatever they were discussing about the situation. And Karen was giving Joy publicly the same advice, commentary, or friendship. We call it fellowship in the spiritual world. Fellowship that she gave her in confidence. That means behind the scenes, publicly. It's my understanding that in that 25 episode, whatever it was, the dozen or 2 dozen videos that Trey did on Joy that commenced on or about August 6th and ended with his trip to Detroit. when he put that together, he looked at the conversation that Karen and Joy had. If Unspoken Purpose builds her timeline, right? Her timeline may include that. And in that, she's going to show where Karen gave her honest opinions, because these are all it is opinions. This is exactly what Unspoken Purpose does. She gives you her opinion of something. An opinion is like a asshole. Everybody has one. An opinion is something you take under advisement. You can use it or you can lose it. So Karen gives her opinion up there. And guess what? Maybe Trey listened to it, and maybe there were things that Trey agreed with and disagreed with. And maybe she's going to come out here and show you in a timeline how he got angry. Because there is a point where he's saying, ma'am, to Karen, you don't know how I felt. You don't know how I felt in that situation for you to be giving advice on how I felt. No, we don't know the parameters of what Trey and Joy were going through in their relationship, because what we've been told now is that some of it was fake, some of it was real. So from one of them, a lot of things were fake and just put out here for the audience consumption, and no one should have took it really seriously. And there were things that Joy specifically believes the whole relationship was real to her. Imagine coming out here with your knowledge that the relationship is real to you and finding out that it was fake to someone else. Fake engagement, but it was a real engagement to you. How do you come out here and defend yourself in that arena? You have to be super strong and super ready. And honestly, for those people who don't know or didn't listen to what Joy said, she said her man, her new man, arm guy, got the voice now, past the catch-up dude, told her not to do any of the people's interviews. You know those paid interviews that people were doing? How could you? This is Monica's opinion. How could you get paid by fellow content creators to talk about your relationship? People don't want to do anything for free. Me personally, if I slept with a man that received payment to talk about me in the negative to other people, I'd be upset. For $100 payments, y'all acting like this is some real reality show type environment where people are getting tens of thousands of dollars to spill their stuff. These are probably $100 or less cash apps to talk about your trap, oh my God. Oh, this is so petty. Ooh. I mean, it hadn't even really hit me until this moment right here. If I was about, or I felt I was about to marry a man, my story with him is not $100 story. It's priceless. Mm. What poor folks do for money, they do anything. This is like me growing up and hearing of fellas who can't get jobs going in and doing these studies, right? Somebody accused John Frank of being one of these people that go into these studies. In New York, they're infamous. What happens is that the men, and they normally test men, will, you know, do a host of clinical trials for payment to take care of their families. Couple of weeks out of the couple days out of the week in some cases. Sometimes it's a couple of weeks out of the month or out of the year where they go into a, you know, lab somewhere and get experimented on, by having different drugs put through their system and being tested for it. Somebody's gonna say to me, "Who told you that, Monica?" You have to be close and near to John Frank for somebody that had told me that. That's all I'm gonna say on that level. But people have asserted that he would be one of those people that participate in those kind of studies, and that's why, when you see him in the thing throwing out the big bucks, it's because he was in one of those studies and got paid, thing. I have no way of confirming that to be a true thing. I'm just telling you that's what I heard. Um, but people do engage in it. It's something that happens here in New York frequently. I just can't. What poor folks would do for money, even on this free app. Some people live for that cash app in order to support their needs. So they will tell anything and everything. I don't know how well other people's cash apps flow around here. I was listening to something because listening to the Unspoken Purpose yesterday because Karen went on there. And then I tried to listen a little bit beyond there to make sure I got the whole context of what happened. And I was listening to her talk about the incident with the gun and the person shooting the person through the wall. And I remember hearing that story over there in Trey's world and stuff, but not really, like, not making sense to me then. So I'm gonna have to go look and see if I took some notes on it because I might be curious about that too. Um, and I think I remember asking questions about it. And I saw this little snippet on the 6 hour reel where Unspoken Purpose, let me see if I find it, where she's telling her audience, let me get my quote on it. Two things. At the 45-minute mark on the 6 hour video, she's telling her audience that Trey promoted on his channel that Faith was a crackhead. And it made her into the biggest crackhead ever on this internet. That he was able to convince the community that she was a crackhead. These are the reasons why the stories that belong in the J for K sector needed to stay in the J for K sector. No one over here needed to be convinced that Faith had challenges in her life that she had to endure. One of those challenges may have been substance abuse. Trey did not bring that to the forefront for the community, at least not for our community to be convinced of. We have always been convinced that Faith had challenges in her life that she was working through. Period. It may be news to the new community, but it was not news to any of us, nor did it deserve to be. I'm going to leave that alone. But I understand why people are making a big deal about the faith connection right now. Because again, it's in an attempt to divide. They're highlighting that Faith is sharing out Trey's videos. I don't know this to be true, but for some reason, Joy was on my platform and she said the same. And I'm also aware of the fact that Joy has put Faith on her grudge list. What I'm not certain of right now, and I'll have to speak to Joy about, but I'll put it out here in a public segment, is Joy upset with Faith and put her on the grudge list for Joy's purpose? Or is it a combination of things? So the purpose of saying that, from Unspoken purpose, the reason why she's bringing out or highlighting the Faith situation is because she wants to make sure that it's getting to Faith's husband, that Trey is in some way supportive of Faith. Again, another instance of trying to start conflict. So when you hear people say that these people are antagonists and they're instigators and they try to start trouble, this is exactly an example of one of those situations. And to keep subtly sticking it in there is to highlight it. The reason why I'm putting it out here today is because I saw it, and I want people to, at least on the simplest things, understand what my messaging is about when I talk about people being antagonists, people being proactive in disseminating information to cause beef. That is an example of one of them. For me, it's at 6 hours, 24 minutes. She comes back from a little intermission of going to check something on her kids. And she starts to explain a clip that she's going to play of me being on Trey's platform, I believe. And the clip is, I don't know if it was Monica Mo Justice, if it was because of Gears that Monica Mo Justice went on the panel. I don't know either. I'd have to go back and listen to the clip and the pieces around it for further context. All right? But listen to what she plays for y'all.
Even if CMA
Let's see where this is at.
Septic sector. Okay. This is the next clip.
What's his head?
Okay. And they want. This is Monica. This is Monica Mo Justice. Monica Mo Justice. I don't know if it was because of gears that she went on the other panel. Hold on 1 second, because I hear kids coming downstairs. Give me one second.
She don't know, but she speaks on something as if she knows. I would think you would try to know if you're going to do commentary on something. But she says it's only her opinion. So she doesn't really have to do due diligence, is what I'm understanding that to mean when she says it's only her opinion. And this is just an example.
Okay, y'all. So I'm getting ready to get out of here. So we're getting ready to. Let me play these last few clips. See your head or your hairline. And the lady was up on the platform. I think it was a Coco somebody.
Coco B.
Coco B. And she's explaining why it's not important to her about Trey's hairline. I think she was absolutely correct in that. And I think that she did a great job holding her ground with a person such as Puppy Monkey Baby, who just wants to interrogate people.
Antagonize.
Well, he was trying to interrogate her.
Well, actually, he is an antagonist and an irritant, and he interrogates or tries to.
All right. I'm going to stop it right there for a second because I can't help myself, right? You see how Trey tries to correct me and I stand my ground? That's just me. That was my opinion and I was sticking to it and no one was going to change my opinion of it. Very few people are strong on that when you're dealing with the energy of a Trey in this situation. And it's very hard to stay firm in your own beliefs. And if you don't know how to do it, these are not the type of people to be having conversations with, because you can easily get offended and take something personal if you don't have your own strengths going into these situations.
Right, he did say the truth. Ain't you the one with all your videos on private? The fuck, man? What kind of question is that?
It wasn't an insulting question. It was a sarcastic question, and it's a factual question. Aren't you the one that privates all of your videos? Yeah, a lot of them. I just want to point out something. So let me go here.
Okay. Notice how, and this is one of the issues that I have with the unspoken purpose type of platform, is that she takes it upon herself at that moment, after making whatever point she was geared to make, right? Monica was over there talking about something at this moment that she felt like incorporating me in her commentary about what I said at that time on the platform. She's doing that in a way to influence her folks' thoughts about me. Rightfully so. It's her platform to do that. And that's why I can understand where they get their opinion from. But she fast forwards after that point. So you don't get to hear the rest of what was said. And that's an example of why you need to go back if you believe this stuff. And you need to hear it for yourself, the stuff in its context, what happened before and after, to ensure that you are supporting a claim that you are confident in. If you are the type of person who blindly accepts what other people says as the word, and you don't do your own investigation for yourself, your own due diligence, then you are just regurgitating something that somebody else said. And when it comes time for you to explain what it meant to you, you're not going to be able to. This is why I don't support group think, because at that moment, all your thoughts are going to be attached to whatever unspoken purpose said it was. And in this instance, her example was, this is Monica may have, or Monica, she doesn't know if Monica was there because of gears. You won't know either. And this is how stuff gets mixed up. And I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't even remember that conversation when I heard it. That's why I had to get up and do time stamping on it. So I couldn't even begin to tell you what was the context of what I was even talking about in that little snippet. I can't even pinpoint to you what that was about. So if I can't do that, imagine. Anyway, today's broadcast was brought to you by the M and the O. Protect your energy. Do your own due diligence.